Page 40, rockets. At the top of page 40, they're introducing a couple of new things. More stuff to remember. First one is a new time signature. Until now, we've had 4/4. Everything. 4 counts to a measure, quarter note gets a count, right? Well, now we get 3/4. Now it's 3 counts to a measure, and a quarter note still gets a count. But now we only have to count to 3, so it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's like a waltz. Waltzes are generally in 3/4 time. Doesn't mean everything in 3/4 time is a waltz. Okay, it's like a waltz. They're introducing the dotted half note. Now we get into dotted notes. Some people have real problems with dotted notes or dotted rhythms. Doesn't need to be, because it's really quite simple. All right. The simple rule is the dot gets half the value of the note. That's it. The first one they give you is a dotted half note. It doesn't matter what the note is. It could be a dotted quarter note, dotted half note, dotted whole note, dotted eighth note, notes you haven't had yet, all right? But we're starting with dotted half notes. A half note is equal to 2 quarter notes, period. Doesn't matter what the time signature is. A half note's always equal to 2 quarter notes. Well, in that case, the dot gets half of that. That's 1 quarter note. So the half note's 2 quarter notes, the dot is 1 quarter note. You put them together, you got 3 quarter notes. Now in 3/4 time, we're counting quarter notes. So now we can say a half note is 2 beats. Well, quarter note's 1 beat. A half note's 2 beats, therefore the dot is 1 beat. Put them together. A dotted half note is 3 beats. It comes in handy in 3/4 time because we got 3 beats in a measure. So if we want 1 note to last the whole measure, we make it a dotted half note. Look on rockets here. The last 2 measures, or next to the last measure of either line, and those are dotted half notes. They get 3 counts. The last measure on the first line is a half note, gets 2 counts, and then a quarter rest gets 1. It's 3. Every measure's got to have 3 counts in it. The last measure on the second line, both hands, dotted half notes. Dotted half note gets 3 counts. It's fine. And that's how it works. But that's on dotted rhythms. That's how dotted rhythms work. A dot gets half the value of the note, period. You gotta look at all the little details in music. Make sure you don't miss something. At the beginning of this, there's an F between the staves. That means loud, right? Well, it's the melody that's loud. Well, in the first 2 measures, it's all melody. And if you'll notice the notes, C, E, G, look familiar, I hope. Except now you're playing them one at a time. They're broken chords, or C chords. But if you learn to recognize them, it makes playing and reading music so much easier. Oh, I recognize that. I can do that. And you'll see these patterns over and over and over. And these chords, you'll see them, and you'll learn them in time. It gets easier. Anyway, the first line is loud, all the way across. And then when you get to the second line, there's a P. Well, that means the melody is soft. Well, in the first 2 measures, again, it's all melody. But in the last 2 measures, only the right hand is melody. So you automatically bring the left hand down. They don't have to give you another dynamic for the left hand. And finally, they don't. This is how music dynamics is actually done. 1 dynamic in the middle, and you have to apply it correctly to the different hands and so forth. Now, in the first line, the first 2 measures, it's all melody. The second, or the last 2 measures, the right hand has the melody. So the left hand automatically comes down. So if I'm going loud, then I get to the third measure, the left hand has to be softer than that. Right? In the second line, the first 2 measures are soft. Get to the third measure, I'm going to keep soft in the right hand, but the left hand has to be under it. Right? So you have to do that. And that's how dynamics actually work. There is an important note at the bottom of the page. Say, play it again. This time, play the second line an octave higher. The rest at the end of the first line, you get a quarter rest at the end of the first line. You use that 1 beat to give you time to move your hands up. So what they're saying is the first line is here, and And during that quarter rest at the end of the first line, they want you to move your hands up here. You're just pretending middle C went up an octave here. Okay? And you're going to play the second line up here. Then they say, well, do it again. Now, the first line, play it higher than written. And the second line, go another octave higher than written. You can have fun with that on. You don't need my help for that, but you can do that. It is very common in piano when we're playing along that they will give you certain symbols in the music we haven't had yet, so I'm not going to discuss it, that tell you to go an octave or two higher or lower than where you are. Okay, so that thing at the bottom, to play these an octave higher and 2 octaves higher, it's actually good practice because you will get into that a little later on for real. Let's go ahead and try Rockets Out. Now it says moderately fast. You do moderately fast on your own. I don't even know what moderately fast is. You decide what is moderate. It's not really fast. It's sort of fast, I guess. I don't know. Depends on the mood you're in or whatever. How much coffee you've had. I don't know. I'm only giving this 3 counts because it's the 3/4 time. There's only 3 beats in a measure. Remember, the counting I give in, the counts that I do at the beginning is based on the time signature. So you're in C position still. So here we go. 1, ready, go. Rest. 1, 2, 3, off.